Okay, so we have the problem square root of 196. Okay? Now, we need to write out every step of the simplification of this. This equals what? Well, the first thing we're going to do, and you know to do it, and you did it correctly, you take the 196 and you do its prime factorization. Which you can do very easily, and you did correctly. Okay, and you also saw that that was 2 squared then times 7 squared, right?
Right.
Okay, so why did we do that? We did that so we can replace 196 with 2 squared times 7 squared. So this is then the square root of 2 squared times 7 squared, okay? And that's what? Well, that's the square root of 2 squared times the square root of 7 squared. Why is that? Well, that's because of the laws of exponents. Now we're going to write this out in exponential notation to be sure we understand why this is an application of the laws of exponents. Okay? In any case, the square root of 2 squared is the number you would multiply by itself to get 2 squared. What do you multiply by 2 in order, or what do you multiply by itself in order to get 2 squared? Well, you multiply 2 by itself. Square root of 2 squared is 2. Square root of 7 squared is 7, so we have 14. Now this assumes you understand how radical notation relates to exponential notation. Okay, well, we really want to write this out in exponential notation because that's the way the laws of exponents are expressed. So, square root of 196 equals 196 to the 1/2. And that's because if you multiply 196 to the 1/2 by 196 to the 1/2, you get 196 to the 1/2 plus 1/2, which is 196 to the 1, which is 196. Okay? So the square, that shows that this has to be the square root of this, because if you multiply this by itself, you get 196. Okay? Well, using our prime factorization, you have 2 squared times 7 squared raised to the 1/2, right?
Right.
Now, law of exponents says if you take a product of two numbers to a power, it's the first number to that power multiplied by the second number to that power. Applying that law of exponents, we get this. Okay? Now that's why I said this is just, breaking this into this is just an application of the laws of exponents.
Right.
It's because this is the same as this, right? And if you put this at a 1/2 power, you see how the law of exponents applies here. The law that says this times this to the power is this to the power times this to the power, right? A times B, quantity to the C, is A to the C times B to the C. Okay? And that's all we're doing from here to here. But this is the same as this, and this is the same as this. So this was an application of that law of exponents, okay? We don't have to have a separate law for square roots, because a square root is just a 1/2 power. It's just an exponent.
Okay.
Okay? Anyhow, so doing this, we apply the law of exponents, we get this. Then we get the next law of exponents, which is if you raise A to the B to the C, it's A to the B times C. Raise a power to a power, you multiply the powers.
Right.
So you have now 2 to the 2 times 1/2 multiplied by 7 to the 2 times 1/2. Make sure we see that multiplication there, right? Otherwise it looks like 2.5. And of course 2 times 1/2 is 1, so we have 2 to the 1 times 7 to the 1, which is just 2 times 7, which equals 14, same as this. Okay? So this is the way you probably want to write it out first, because you're pretty good with the laws of exponents. They get a little bit obscured when you put radicals in there.
Yeah.
But once you've written it out with the laws of exponents, you can see how that translates into the radical. And with practice, you'll understand the radical notation better. Okay?